Hello and welcome to Hebrew Perspectives. I'm glad that you are here with me for this short video on God, healer of the brokenhearted. So today we're just going to give a little Torah basic, so to speak. And we're reading from Psalms 147, 2 and 3. God, the builder of Jerusalem, gathers the dispersed of Israel. He who is a healer to the brokenhearted will relieve their sadness. This is read in the daily morning service. It's Psalms 147, 2 and 3. Now, I'm reading from Rabbi Twersky's Living Each Day devotion. And this is from actually a couple of days ago from the 2nd of Av. And so I'm going to read to you this, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Now, Rabbi Bunam of Pishka asked, "Is it not a virtue to be humble and brokenhearted, as the psalmist says, God is close to the brokenhearted and the humble in Psalms 34 and 19? Why then should he heal the brokenhearted and thereby remove their virtue?" Well, like any good rabbi, when you ask a question, you should be able to answer that question. And so Rabbi Bunam does answer that question. And he answered and he says, there is a difference between being humble and brokenhearted as opposed to being sad. The scriptural reference to brokenhearted is to a person's awareness that he has not yet done enough. And this brings about a sense of humility, which stimulates him to greater achievement to fulfill his mission on earth. Now, sometimes we feel inadequate, so to speak. We feel like we're not doing enough. We're not achieving, and so what happens is a lot of people just give up doing what they need to do for God, and in other words, they become weary in well doing, so to speak. But he continues on and he says, but sometimes this awareness of how little one has achieved may spill over into sadness and dejection. These latter feelings are destructive because they lead to despair and inactivity. So we don't give up. Yes, sometimes we're brokenhearted, but we can't let that lead to sadness. It should bring us to a place where we draw near to God and we feel like we can do what we need to do. We can achieve a walk with God and live a happy life. Now, he also continues to say, God heals the brokenhearted by relieving their sadness and their feelings of hopelessness that may be generated by their dejection. With their dejection gone, the healthy humility will stimulate them to achievement. So you can see here, God, yes, he's close to those that are brokenhearted, but to relieve that sadness, he heals that brokenheartedness and helps people to achieve and get away from those destructive feelings and not give up. And that's what we need with the walk with God. And I understand a lot of people, like I said, that they tend to have this feeling of hopelessness, like they cannot walk with God. And a lot of times what happens, that ends up being, it draws you, you're drawing to yourself, so to speak. And it ends up becoming this self-centeredness, and it ends up leading to idolatry, and which is something that we do not want to do. So in Hosea 2 and 10, we read, I gave them silver in abundance and gold, which they used for idolatry. Idolatry is a concept whereby man creates his own gods. And he creates his own gods to serve him, rather than being a servant to God, so to speak. So when man's interests are self-serving, he essentially is idolatrous. And nobody wants to hear these things, but it's the truth. Now, Rabbi Yuri of Strelzik was intensely spiritual. Earthly things had no significance for him. His fierce devotion to God earned him the appellation the Fiery One. Rabbi Yuri's followers were all poor. I want you to listen to this very carefully here. One time the rabbi's wife asked him, Why do you not pray to God on behalf of your devotees that he bless them with greater earnings? The following morning after services, Rabbi Yuri had his wife observe as he announced to his followers, whoever wishes wealth, let him come forward now, and I will bless him with abundant wealth. Not a single soul budged. Nobody got up and came forward. You see, Rabbi Yuri said to his wife, not one of them is interested in wealth. Why should I pray to God to give them something that they do not want? To one who possesses true spirituality, earthly riches are of no importance. So you can see how this is just one of the areas where we struggle with, and we're always looking to have our needs met, and we're always striving, and where we're going after the material possessions of the world and different things that are just happening. And that could end up leading to self-serving. Now, I understand there's nothing wrong with being blessed. I would have that everyone that is watching, that you would be blessed, that you would have more. But remember, we want a greater spirituality in our life, and we want to serve God, and we want to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thank you for watching this Torah Basic. If you liked what you see, share and like it and share and help us to grow. God bless.